Dr. Givens. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me, Dr. Gilbert.
And thank you for accepting my invitation. So today we are speaking with Dr. Givens, and Dr. Givens is a psychotherapist, and I'm going to let her tell you about all of what she does because I mean being a psychotherapist is she helps folks, but there's so many parts to her. Tell us what you do.
Well, I am a licensed psychotherapist here in the state of Texas, so I have an LPCS. My PhD is in counseling and human services.
Hmm.
Um, I have a nonprofit organization called Urban Counseling Click. So the organization is geared toward, mainly it was established to counsel teens. So we
Hmm.
were the go-to organization here in the Dallas area for kids. So we have expanded to teens, their families, as well as individual therapy and couples counseling. So
Hmm.
those are some of the things that I do now, as well as coaching. Everyone that comes to me doesn't necessarily have a mental health issue.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's more or less relationship problems, or something going on with their career and just stress, so they want to kind of unpack those things.
Hmm.
So that's something that, I've been doing over the years.
Okay. Okay. And I'm so glad you said that because so many folks get confused when it comes to coaching and psychotherapy. And I did
Hmm.
write a book about it, Life Coaching, Make It Simple. Don't ask your
Okay.
friend, hire a life coach. And it's because there is a difference and it can be a fine line. And everyone that come to therapy doesn't necessarily need therapy. They
Yeah.
may just need that extra boost, but something got them there, you know.
Hmm.
So good for you. And so in all of the work and the things that you have done, there's been we have a path and a journey that we're on. At least I mean I do. And in the
Yeah.
tapestry of your life, you know, you've changed from where you were when you were in high school or where you were when you were in college. Different things have different meanings to you in your life. And so when I bring up the word freedom, freedom
Hmm.
is such a broad word and it
Yeah.
can apply in life in so many different ways. When I say that to you, what does that mean for you?
Well, freedom means for me, authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
the ability to be free, the ability to, do the things that makes you happy, kind of
Mm-hmm.
living life on your own terms. So
Mm-hmm.
if that's broad, kind of whatever that looks like. So for me, it has been, my journey to be at peace and to be comfortable and to
Mm-hmm.
live life, on a positive path.
Mm-hmm. And you say that at peace, because when folks say to me, what does freedom mean to you, Dr. Gilbert? I say to them, freedom means to me being able to make choices in my life that give me peace, that brings me
Mhm.
peace, not comfort, but peace. Peace and
Yeah,
comfort are not the same. And folks
exactly.
exchange it, but they're not the same. So freedom to me is being able to make the choice about things that bring me peace. And
Mhm.
then being able to live that peace is freedom for me. And with
Yes.
the work that you do, you run into a lot of people that possibly may struggle with that. And
Mhm.
which ways do you see people struggle with, trying to find, that middle ground?
Well, I think it's more or less with most folks, it's the trying to keep up with societal norms, like
Mm-hmm.
what's going on in society. I have several clients who have an issue with social media. So they'll get on social media and they'll see people living this life and doing these different things, and it affects them emotionally, mentally, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they may feel like they're not there, or they see their friends around them. And so I try to inform them that
I don't know why we're having such a challenge today. I usually don't have haven't had any challenges with my connection, and I got all the bars here, so I don't know what's going on with it.
The devil, that's all.
Say try to get busy, but we're going to
Right.
continue in our conversation. But you're absolutely right. You know, when folks start measuring themselves up against anything that's out here, and they don't have it, somehow they equate their entire being as not enough. Is not enough. And they see somebody else have something more, something better than them, and then
Yeah.
they take that on, and it causes a lot of anxiety, anger, depression,
Mhm.
various things in our lives. You know, I don't know about you, but when I've always kind of not followed the Joneses, but I followed the agenda that
Yeah.
society have set forth to us to say, oh, you go to school, you graduate, you go to college, you get a degree, you do this job, da 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 da, and then you get to be a certain age, then we'll let you retire, right? I
Yeah.
did follow that script in my life for a long time, and what
Mhm.
others thought was success. Um, but it came a point in my life that I had to look at what someone else was telling me was success to see how did that sit with me? How did I really feel about it? And some of it just didn't sit right with me. So although I stayed in the same field, the helping profession, because I've been in a lot of helping professions, but I had to change my identified work or identified area. you know, I had to remember some of where I came from and knowing that it was some other people like me. And if I could do a certain thing and lead by example, that brought me peace. That brought me peace. And it felt like I freed myself up from the expectation of others. What about you?
I think with me, more or less, our experiences shape us. So
Hmm.
experience is your best teacher. Early on, when I graduated from high school, I went into the military. A lot of people don't know that I'm a veteran. So,
Oh,
I went into the
wow.
army. Yeah, so that was a path for me.
Hmm.
And upon entering the army and completing that and things like that, I did a split option to where I was in college during the time that after before well how it works is that you go in and do your training or whatever, and then you can go back and go to school, and then after that summer go back and do your training and things like that. So that was kind of my path initially after high school. So but I was going to college during that time. My initial major was biology pre-medicine because I was on a path to go to med school and wanted to be a pediatrician. That was
Okay.
something I always said, junior high, whatever, that was my thing. So
Mhm.
somewhere along the way, when I was getting ready to graduate, um I was thinking about considering changing my major to psychology. And one of my mentors was like, why do you want to do that? You're
Mhm.
majoring in biology or whatever. You can do more, you can expand more. You at the end, don't change to the psychology. But I started to really like that, getting
Mhm.
into taking, child psychology classes and different things. So long story short, with that, after I graduated with my biology degree, I decided that I don't necessarily know if I want to go to medical school.
Mhm.
So taking that 2 year break, led me to starting to work on my master's in
Mhm.
mental health counseling, going into that helping profession. And I was able to, after that, have positions to where I could merge the two in my
Mhm.
work. I was able to merge my knowledge with biology and human biology and pre med
Okay.
and counseling together.
Okay.
So that was kind of my path, for a while, because
Mhm.
most therapists don't have that background to where they know the med side as well. So
Mhm.
that has helped me tremendously, throughout my career, being able to, tell clients different things based on, what I know about psychopharmacology,
Mm-hmm.
human biology, how the brain works, as well as, when I was an undergrad, I also, studied herbs. So,
Okay.
I consider myself a herbalist as well. So that's something that I've been studying for years. So I'm able to kind of incorporate all of that right now into practice.
Well, not only are our colors kind of matching here today, our path kind of matched. I didn't do the military, but I did study psychopharmacology. So I have a great understanding of the, how medications, and I did health psychology. So
Okay.
I did a master's for health psychology. So I understood how the meds work in the body and how other health issues work on our mental health. So that having that foundation is solid. And I did attend the Chicago School of or Chinese medicine. It's been so long ago I can't even remember.
Okay.
It was back in the 80s, and I studied herbs and
Okay.
phytopharmacology, as they called it, and same thing. I do it now. My medicine, my is like
Yeah.
food and the whole thing. So we're twinning here,
Okay.
and the thing that's so amazing about it, our paths are similar, but the way we've left one thing to another thing is really important to note that you had something had to come up. You had somebody telling you not to do it, but it was something about yourself that told you, no, I'm gonna go over here and put my foot in this water. What was that?
Well, I with me it was just dealing with people. I always like to talk to people, and I always was a helper. With
Mm-hmm.
when I was going to school, I was the type that if you saw like another kid who may have had less than, or may, I'm talking me as a child, I would befriend that kid, the odd kid out that nobody talked to, who would sit by themselves, may have not dressed, good, or was not really clean. I would be the
Mm-hmm.
one to befriend that child and see, kind of, what I can do to help. And I would start little drives and collect clothes and collect new
Mm-hmm.
stuff and bring it to the kid house so they could come to school looking, better than what
Mm-hmm.
they had. Because you don't know people's situation. Their parents, might not have been, financially able to provide certain things. So that was always me. And
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that, about me just really wanting to help people and talk to people. So being able to get into, this profession is a passion
It
of mine.
is.
So, it's not a job for me. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that I enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm. But somebody was saying to you, April, you're at the end. Don't change. Take the easy way out. Because, see, I know and this path that we have chosen is not easy. Okay. It is just not easy. Even though we have mastered, not taking our clients' issues and making them our issues. You know where you stop and where your clients begin, but it's still not easy to be that sponge because you got to absorb it. You got to take it
Mm-hmm.
in order to process it to help the people that we're helping. So someone
Right.
said to you, don't do that. You're at the end. Don't be switching up, girl. Go head on and get done. Get through. And you said no. So was it something inside of you? I hear what you're saying. There was a passion, but was there
Mhm.
any other thing, some inner strength or determination or something that said, no, I'm going to go and check this out. I'm going to be true to myself. How did you find that courage just to be true to yourself in the day and age that we live in? And especially you was in the most controlled environment ever. You were in the military,
Yeah.
you know?
But with me, like you, all of that self determination and everything, I've always been the type to go against the norm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't conform to peer pressure, to society, to none of that stuff. I've always beat at my own drum, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just, me being able to say, hey, this is what I want to do, and not letting anyone tell me otherwise. I
Okay.
follow my own mind, so to
Mhm.
speak,
Okay.
and I do my own research when it
Okay.
comes to everything in life. You can't convince me to do anything. I've researched myself and I come up with the best, solution that works for me, what makes me happy.
And so, for those people that you work with, and for people that are just listening to us, what most people have the desire to do that. Most people have the desire to, walk to their own drum. Most people have the desire just to do whatever it is that they want to do, even if it's doing nothing. But there's something that be, about being accepted, being validated, being, not the odd man out, something that society has put upon us that they are not able to release themselves from. So if a person wants to do what you did, I'm not saying follow your path as far as the career, but follow your ability, your strength, your courage, your determination to just walk to the beat of their own drum. What would you suggest to them? How can they reach out and grab that? Because we all have that thing too, but we
Yeah.
somehow we got to be able to find it. So, what would you say to a person to find that?
Well, it's going to take a lot of unpacking because everybody is different. And,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody path is different as well, because you do have all types of personalities and all type of people. Some people are assertive, some people are aggressive, some people are passive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's them really doing more self reflection and figuring out what makes you happy, and being able to push forward and focus on the things that makes you happy, not
Mm-hmm.
what makes your parents happy, or your friends happy, or other people around you, but what is it that you want for yourself. I think that's the start, because a lot of people don't sit with themselves and self reflect. So
Mm-hmm.
being able to really self reflect and put pen to paper and write it down. This is what I want for myself. I think that's what helped me early on, just being able, starting in fifth grade, I was journaling, I
Okay.
had a diary, writing down goals and plans and stuff. I've always seen myself as a child being more, so that was always a goal for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I started making choices early on to set the path for my life of what I wanted to be later on when I became an adult.
Mm-hmm. And so, in this opting for freedom, when I say that, and I've said it to many people, it could sound maybe polyamorous, or it could sound is the ultimate. Once you do that, there's no more problems in your life or any of that. You and I both know that that's not true. You and I
Right.
both know in your journey to be true to thyself, there comes some challenges, some
Oh
difficulties
yeah,
with that, and you have to
absolutely.
be able to move past those things. So I would like if you could share just something brief with us that was one of your most salient challenges, and then on the flip side, what has been one of your greatest rewards for sticking to the path.
Well, I guess the challenges definitely on is, relationships, friendships. I think that's probably has been, the most challenging for me, because you have to realize that you outgrow people, and everyone cannot go along on the path that you're headed in your
Can you
growth
say that
process.
again? Say that again. Say that loud.
That you outgrow people, and that's true. And some people you're going to have to let go. I some of my friends have fell off over the years, people that I considered friends or whatever, because sometimes, if you're evolving and you're in relationships or friendships that are not evolving, those people sometimes become stuck and they start to resent you because of your elevation.
Hmm.
Especially if you started off on the same path. you may started off together, went to school together, started
Absolutely.
working together, whatever, but at some point you shot up and they kind of stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that becomes a level of envy and jealous, or competition. All this stuff kind of comes into play. So when you start to recognize that, sometimes it's, well, not sometimes, you need to, you know, put that in check and be able to let those relationships go.
That's
So
right.
I think, that has been the challenge for me with, friendships, as well as, some love relationships. I think the relationship piece, when we have these relationships with others, they are mirror images. And sometimes they reflect back onto you the things that that you still need to work on within yourself. That person is
Mm-hmm.
just shining a mirror. So
Mm-hmm.
all those relationships help along the growth process. That's why I tell people all the time, oh, well, I was married for 20 years, and somewhere along the line, it didn't work out when people
Mm-hmm.
come into therapy for that issue, and that was a waste of time. No, nothing is ever a waste of time. You have to look at it like, hey, what did I get in that process? What
Yes.
was my growth? What was the lesson there? What did this person come into my life to teach me? Because maybe they were only here for that particular season, and
Mm-hmm.
it was time for them to move on and go. And so, that's a big part of it. So
Mm-hmm.
that can be, very challenging, and that can make or break you, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it takes years to get over, devastating relationships.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's been a challenge. What's been more or less a blessing for me is getting to the point in life to where I am living comfortably, and I am living on, my terms. I love to travel. I'm able to do that. Working for myself has
Mm-hmm.
afforded me to have the flexibility that I can do things, that I really enjoy and that I like to do. Completing my PhD
Mm-hmm.
was, a milestone. So
Mm-hmm.
being able to do that, how tough that is. So being able to,
Mm-hmm.
get through all of that, it's just, I mean, all of that is a blessing. So just
Mm-hmm.
being at this point in life to where you can truly help people and be happy about it, and do the things that you enjoy.
Absolutely. Oh my God! Thank you for sharing that. And that's the one of the things what you were talking about, the relationships as the challenge. Even
Mhm.
folks that when they stop talking to people, they think they're not having a relationship. And I say, you're still having a relationship with that person. Anytime you carry their energy with you anywhere, even not to talk to them. But I believe that that's one of the greatest things. It's at least very high on the list of the reasons that people make some of the choices that they make in our lives. They're seeking out approval and validation, and they would rather disappoint themselves than
Yeah,
disappoint the item on somebody else's agenda. And I say to
exactly.
folks, when people have something already set forth for you, and then you try to meet that thing wherever it is or whatever it is, by the time you get there and accomplish it, there's a new item on the agenda. And you're like, well, where did that come from? I thought I needed to do this. Well, when you're not being authentic to who you are, just like you were saying, and just like I say, we change. We outgrow people. We outgrow ourselves. We need different things as we go along. So, and so does the greater society at large. So, as you try to move towards those trajectories that society have given you, there's a moving target. It's never stable enough for you to get there. So you have to decide to self validate. You have to decide that you are enough and this is what you need to be authentically who you are. So thank you for sharing that piece, because it lets me know I am not in this world alone. That no, you got
Right.
to deal with the relationship, and the first relationship is with yourself.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much. If you have any advice that you want to give to anyone that's listening to us today, what would that be?
Well, I guess so much that I could say. Focus on what's positive in your life. Practice gratitudes. I do that daily. And I think, people, if they start to do that, they start to really see and appreciate what they have in front of them. Living more in the present as opposed to thinking about things that have happened in the past, thinking about what's going to happen in the future, stopping to really appreciate what is happening in your life right now, and just
Hmm.
being happy and grateful for it. Maybe writing down each day 3 things that you're happy and grateful for. If you woke up and you're breathing and you're in good health,
Hmm.
that's one thing right there that you're
Okay.
happy and grateful for. So being able, to really do that and hone into the gratitudes, um, that's life changing.
It's life changing. Again, I want to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity of having this conversation with you about opting for freedom. I just think it's such an honor that we can sit here and just talk, just talk about it and share our thoughts and our ideas. And maybe someone listening, whatever it is they hear us saying, they can grab some of that and it'll make a difference in their lives.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed the conversation.
Okay. And we have to do something like this again.
Yes, we must.
Okay.